time for the Morning Watch, brought to you today by Home and Things, your construction finishes superstore.
Hello and welcome to the Morning Watch on Love 101 FM. I'm your host, Stokely Marshall. A special welcome to our listeners on love101.org. And if you are overseas and on the move, US listeners can access us at 712-832-8001. And if you are in the UK, 0330-332-6541, or join us via the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also join us on live on Love 101 FM, YouTube, and Facebook Live in the main watch today. 15% hike in bus taxi fares. And in the second watch, protecting ourselves in case of a seismic event. For our Facebook question, we ask, what do you think about the 15% fare increase for taxi and bus operators? Share your responses on our Facebook, YouTube, Love 101 FM Jamaica Live, or WhatsApp comments and voice notes to 876-997-3125. We'll share your comments or your responses later on the program, but first, here's I quote.
This morning's I quote, "A moment of patience in a moment of anger saves you 100 moments of regret."
Indeed, we wish, Siobhan is some of the best I quotes we see. For some reason, the person who wrote it is unknown. Why is that so, Siobhan?
I don't know.
I always wonder. The main watch, we'll be back after this break.
Man of God, the Purpose and Wealth Men's Conference, August 27 and 28 is for you. Get insights on God's kingdom purpose for you. Learn about business and investment opportunities. There is a mentorship program to help you. Conditions apply. Speakers include Dr. Sam Vassell, Dr. Bill Winston, Dave Hodson, and Dr. Al Miller. It's online, so register now at feltabonline.org/KMC.
It's our Independence, Jamaica, and Berger wants you to celebrate with our Step Up to Savings promotion. That's right, get 10% off selected paints and get a free gift with your purchase. So whether you want to show off your national pride with colors like black, green, and gold, or you're interested in any of our thousands of colors, you'll still get 10% off and save big. Promotion ends August 31st, and remember, get a free gift with your purchase. Berger, for lasting beauty and protection.
DJ Bongs. Make we rich together with Digicel. Just call 142 or dial star 142 number sign from your prepaid phone for a chance to win your share of $42 million in cash and prizes. Enter to get $500 bonus credit. Smartphone users get 500 megabytes any use data and 1 gigabyte BIP data, while non-smartphone users get 10 minutes and 50 SMS free for Digicel to Digicel calls and texts. Each entry costs $100. From now until September 14th, make we rich together with Digicel. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries Act.
Is it ever enough just to rely on faith in God? In the case of that cancer diagnosis, do you choose chemotherapy plus faith to heal you, or just faith and a change in diet? How about the novel coronavirus? Will you be just believing that God will keep you safe, or will you have faith that the vaccine won't harm you? Faith or fate? That is the question. To be discussed on The Rock with host Pastor Harold Steve Blair and guests Diane Hansen and Reverend Valentine Rodney. Of course, God is all-powerful, mighty, and awesome works has he done. But where does faith stop and faith step in? It'd be an interesting conversation, and you can't afford to miss it. That's a discussion on faith or faith on The Rock, Tuesday, August 17 at 10 a.m. right here on Love 101 FM, the family station. Make sure you tune in. The Rock, solid, objective, substantial.
welcome back to the Morning Watch. I am Stokely Marshall, your host. Now, over the weekend, Saturday to be exact, last Saturday, there was a 2.5 hour long meeting with members of the Transport Operators Development Sustainable Services, TODDS. After that meeting, they put out a call to the minister or the Ministry of Transport and Mining and the Transport Authority, asking them to put a hold on the present fare adjustment. Now, what happened in that meeting, why, and was the mood of the meeting and the feeling of members of TODS and other taxi operators? And since that meeting, how have the public experienced and how have the various stakeholders in the transport sector seen or observed how the public have reacted to this fare adjustment? Are some operators ignoring the call to put a hold on the increase? What exactly is happening? We have online to discuss this today Mr. Edgerton Newman, president of TODS, and Kevin Howell. He is a taxi driver. Now, Mr. Howell himself was not a part of the meeting, and he runs his own taxi. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you doing, sirs?
Not too bad. Good morning.
Mr. Newman,
Hello?
Mr. Howell.
Yeah, good morning.
Okay, Mr. Howell, that's you?
Good morning. Mr.
Okay,
Howell.
great. Great, excellent. Now, before we get down into the meat of it, Mr. Newman, sir.
No, Mr. Newman isn't on as yet, Stokely.
We are not seeing. Okay. Unfortunately, we don't have him on it. Mr. Howell, now,
Yes, sir.
you were not at the meeting. Interestingly, I was on that Zoom meeting as a guest, and I heard much of what was said. I did hear when it was indicated that there should be a call to put a halt on the increase. I did hear the reasons, and there was a subsequent press release. Have you, in operating your taxi, have you not implemented the fare increase, or have you? In other words, are you a member of TODS? Or whether you're a member of TODS or not, how have you been operating since this week has started?
Well, we're the members of TODS. I'm something there. Taxi Association, John Road.
Which association are you a member of? I'm not sure if you heard you correctly. Can you repeat that, please, sir?
Yeah, I'm a member of John's Road Taxi Association.
John's Road.
Yeah, John's Road Taxi Association.
That operates in the Spanish Town area of St. Catherine, sir?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. And in relation to the call by TODS, Mr. Newman's, the one that he heads, what has been your reaction? Have you decided not to implement the fare increase, sir?
Well, I come out yesterday morning and I asked some of my brethren them and one of my friends text me a video where the Transport Authority put out a sheet with the fare increase. So
yes.
And they put a hole on it. Why they would have put out a sheet with the fare increase?
I see. So you are seeing a little bit of a disconnect between what the Transport Authority is saying and what you're hearing that TODS said. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, because if they put a hole on it, them shouldn't put out the 15%. That's what them said them put out. Them should have put a hole on it and say, all right, and come back and say something to we yesterday and say, all right, here what? If your increase not effective for Monday till such and such a time when we resolve this year, all right? So everybody come out yesterday and them say, is yesterday the fare increase effective? So I guess everybody will start collect now.
Okay. So how you have been collecting in terms of the 15% increase. Now, on the route that you operate on, sir, what was the fare before the fare increase?
It was $110.
Okay. So with the increase now, what are you charging?
It's $125, but nobody now come with $5.
That kind of change, right? That sort of change. So what actually is on the road then?
Before me even reach right there, so it's actually about 10 years now since the fare don't increase. And from the last time the fare increased and come to $110. And not been collecting $110 on this road. It's $100 everybody keep on giving. The children them was to pay $60 and everybody keep on giving you $50 same way. So you have to just work with it and take it. So now them round it up to $125. Everybody now, if me tell people say $125, everybody will cut off my $5.
So what were you collecting yesterday, for example? $120?
Well, at $130, man, them are collecting.
Okay, yeah, but okay. So you have been collecting $130 as well?
Yeah.
I see. Now, the Transport Authority did indicate that they would be monitoring the various routes to ensure that persons are not paying more than the precise level of increase. Subject, of course, to route up to the nearest.
I don't cut away.
Go ahead.
So that's unfair. When the people are not giving you the right fare, nobody not here to monitor that and say nothing about it, don't it?
Okay, so when you're being underpaid by the commuters, no one monitors that. That's what you're saying.
No one monitor and say anything about that, don't it?
I see where you're going. So how do you, however, react now that there has been a legitimate increase granted by the relevant authorities? How do you respond when someone says, I should only be paying the precise amount of the increase? How do you respond to that?
Come and say, them have them 125 and then give me 125. Me not have a problem. Me collect it. You understand?
I understand.
But
okay.
You understand? But the 125 and the 115 and what them at all, it better them just round it up to a 120 or a 130. You understand me? The $5 and the extra $10, it's not gonna work in a system. I tell you, people are gonna tell us they don't have $10. I'm on the road for all long and me run, and people maybe will come in my car and then start cuss and say, if driver ask them for when the fare $110, if driver ask them for $10, they must stop drive with him. So I say, no, can't do that because when we check the level of fee the 7 years, when me look and see amount of $10 where me should have collect, when me stop operate for a man who and I try to buy a car for myself, if me did I put on all of them $10 when me did I for 7 years, I could have more than buy a car.
You know, I just did a little calculation, sir. You said before the increase, you should have been collecting 110. That's what you said?
Yes. And me check it up.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just get a rough check the last time when we asked for fare increase for about 7 years back. And when me check it up as a rough check, I'm alright. In post of a day, I'm going to run, I'm going to collect $2,000. What a $10 then? In all the days when I done work. Just an estimate at $2,000. Might be more to collect more. And when me check it up for 7 years, me get nearly $6 million. So me say, if me look how much money me get to the commuter and nobody knows to that. You understand?
Yeah. So as far as you're concerned, you've been struggling, operating perhaps at a great loss when you add it up cumulatively over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have been collecting less than the fare you should have been collecting all that time.
Less than the fare, you understand?
You should have been collecting 110, but you were only getting $100.
$100. And the school them should have paid $60.
From adults.
Yeah, the adult them should have paid $60 and then
And the school children you should have been collecting
now come with the $10. So every way
And for the-
you lose.
I'm sorry. And for the school children, you should have been collecting $60, but you were only actually getting $50.
$50.
Yes, I was just saying to you, we're about to head to a break, but I noticed that at 110 prior to the increase, if you were to apply a strict 15%, you should be charging $126.50.
Yeah, but that mental it can't where you do calculate.
I understand, totally understand. Hold that thought, Mr. Howell. We want to speak to you somewhere after the break. Stay with us. We'll be right back on the Morning Watch.
This is Love on a 1 at 7:16.
Become the hero on the scene by taking the COVID vaccine. Get vaccinated as soon as you get all the facts. Don't listen to the rumors. This vaccine might just make it possible for teachers to sit face to face with schoolers. This vaccine make it safer for everybody, from the young to the elderly. Don't you want to go back to living normally when things were more orderly? And if you want to live a long good life, then we all have to do what's right. So let's get vaccinated along with the heroes on the front line.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
The world is full of job opportunities locally and overseas. Let us bring them to you. Register now at Distinction College, located at 26 Huggett Park Road, Kingston, 6 Nugent Street, Spanish Town, and Ocho Rios. In 2 to 3 months, earn local and international certificates in housekeeping, food and beverage, food preparation, receptionist, and customer service. Qualified to work in hotels, cruise ships, restaurants, and businesses worldwide. No subjects required, no age limits, no entrance test. Day, evening, and Saturday classes begin very soon at low school fees. Easy and flexible payment plans. Call us 356-4167.
Bills to pay and funds to transfer? No problem. I do it all on my time with JN Bank Live Online Banking. It's my simple and secure as that online banking.
Phone credit need a top up? No problem. I do it with JN Bank Live Online Banking.
It's quick and easy with just a few clicks. JN Bank Live, online banking that goes where you go. Sign up today. Visit jnbank.com. JN Bank, we'll help you find a way.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Sophie Marshall. We are looking at the matter of the recent fare increase. In fact, 15% hike in bus taxi fares. And our guest right now, we have Mr. Kevin Howell. He is a taxi driver. We are hoping to have online still Mr. Edgerton Newman, president of TODS. But we're having a very interesting conversation with Mr. Howell, who is out there as a taxi driver on a day-to-day basis, along with many other taxi drivers. I'm sure he speaks for many other persons in the sector. And Mr. Howell, it's interesting that you indicated to us before the break how much money you did an estimate, or you did a calculation, I should say. And you lost about $6 million over a number of years. And you want to remind me how long that was from? Was that from 2007?
Yeah.
From
the fare increase till now. And if you put on the rest of the year, then on that, we're supposed to run nearly about $8-9 million. What a $10, that's a rough check at $2,000 a day.
And can you remind us where your route is exactly again?
On Sligoville, Waterloo, Keystone.
I see.
Waterloo, Keystone.
Okay, I see. And your taxi ends up in Spanish Town proper or another destination?
Yeah, man, Spanish Town. Termination. Yeah, Spanish Town.
That's where you terminate. I see.
Yeah.
Now, you weren't in the meeting, yes, that was held on Saturday, the meeting of TODS, and you did it well. can you, just for the benefit of the listeners, can you remind us specifically, are you a member of TODS or you're not a member of TODS? You're a member of the St. John's Road Taxi Association, you said?
Yeah, Taxi Association, yeah.
Okay. So when TODS puts out a decision, I know there are many associations out there, but when TODS puts out a decision, do you give credence to that decision, or do you take cognizance of it? Do you respectfully go along with it, or you sort of just go along with what your association says? What is the relationship you have with TODS?
Well, as far as I see, it's like a TODS at the bigger head for all the taxi association. It look like, because him always come down underneath everything. It's him always in them meet him always there a call up, and you understand them a call up on and and things. So I guess him supposed to are through him I don't know if we put it. But is him always I put out fear increase and them things. So I don't know how them run it on at the taxi association if everything come down underneath one headline and him at the top. You understand?
Now, did you see the press release, sir?
Hello?
Did you see the press release that TODS put out?
No, I don't believe I see the press release.
Okay. Well, I might be speaking with a little bit more knowledge because I was a guest in the meeting. I wasn't a part of the meeting, but I was a guest in the meeting. And among the things that was indicated is that they want to have further dialogue with the minister because there was some level of dissatisfaction with a number of issues, and so they felt that they should defer the increase until those issues are ironed out. And after those issues are ironed out, then the relevant increase, whatever amount that is, would then be applied. Do you feel that, suppose for example, I'm putting this to you, sir. Suppose for example, you really needed an increase of 50%. Would you have rather to have this fare increase put off a little bit until further dialogue was held with the minister, and then at a later date, maybe the increase that you really need is applied? How you feel about that, sir?
Yeah, when I feel more appreciated, me I tell you, because right now, the 15% coming like a joking, me I tell him, Daddy, God believes you me, because if he did this and then give 130%, then you understand, or something like that, but 15% come like a real joking, because 15, 16, $17, whether I go up on every Thursday gas raise, that is one perspective. You have to do insurance, you have to do road license, you have to do fitness 2 times a year, you have to buy tire, you have to buy gas every morning. It's a whole heap of thing there for me, I tell them that. And the government collect tax on everything what we do. Everything what we do. We feel like they right now tax man supposed to spend enough of his money in this country more than anything else.
Okay. Now, what is the reaction you're getting from some of your customers, your clients, meaning the persons who take these vehicles? By the way, I should have asked you, is it that you run a taxi in terms of a route taxi, a motor car that can take several persons, or are you running a bus? What kind of vehicle are you operating? Mr. Howell?
I think we're going to have to try and get him back. Yeah?
Oh, unfortunately, we may have lost him for a moment. Hope to have back Mr. Howell. We are having a discussion on the Morning Watch. The topic is 15% hike in bus taxi fares. And our guest for this segment, very interesting conversation, Mr. Kevin Howell. Would love to have him back as a guest in the future, by the way. He's really making his points quite clear. He's a taxi driver, and he was not a part of the meeting that was held last Saturday. He runs his own taxi. Have we gotten him back, Siobhan?
No, not as yet.
I see. And, maybe it might be opportune to actually try to retrieve this press release. If I could toggle to it here in a moment. I will try to see if I can locate it here and read a bit of it for the listeners while we try to get back Mr. Howell. Hope to get him back on the phone. After a 2.5 hour long meeting tonight, that would have been Saturday night, the Transport Operators Development Sustainable Services is calling on the Minister of Transport and Mining and the Transport Authority to put a hold on the present fare adjustment. The organization is calling for further consultation on the reason. Shivani, are we back?
Yes, you're on. I'm still trying to get Mr. Howell, but you're on. Yes?
Okay. I was just reading the press release for the benefit of the listeners who may not have read it or heard it. The organization is calling for further consultation on the reason for 15% and for the publication of a
Thank you, listeners. Well, I think we're having a bit of a challenge with Stokely's connection there. Let's take a break now and come back with much more inside the Morning Watch. This is Love 101, the family station, and the Morning Watch today is brought to you by Home and Things, your construction finishes superstore. Please do stay with us.
The world is full of job opportunities locally and overseas. Let us bring them to you. Register now at Distinction College located at 26 Hagley Park Road, Kingston, 6 Nugent Street, Spanish Town, and Ocho Rios. In 2 to 3 months, earn local and international certificates in housekeeping, food and beverage, food preparation, receptionist, and customer service. Qualified to work in hotels, cruise ships, restaurants, and businesses worldwide. No subjects required, no age limits, no entrance test. Day, evening, and Saturday classes begin very soon at low school fees, easy and flexible payment plans. Call us 356-4167.
You know how Jamaican people do everything extra, right? So why should planning your retirement be any different? Introducing JNGI Silver Shield. 2-in-1 coverage for motor vehicle and home including contents. See? Extra! Imagine 25% JN member discount, emergency roadside assistance, accident forgiveness up to $1 million and more. JNGI Silver Shield. Exclusively for members of the Caribbean community of retired persons. Visit jngi.com. JNGI. We'll help you find a way. A member of the JN Group.
This is current. This is news. This is what's happening in Jamaica and around the world. Current affairs, government activities, the latest news in education, health, the economy, and more. Stay up to date and stay current on Love 101, 6:30 a.m., our morning news. 10:30 a.m., our mid-morning updates. 1 p.m., highlights in the news inside the Alive Exchange. 5 p.m., Dateline News. 6:30 p.m., religious news highlights. And don't miss News Review with Clyde Edwards on Sundays at 7 p.m. This is current. This is news presented by Love 101 FM in partnership with My Jamaica Today. Only 3 clicks away. Stay in the know and in the now on Love 101, the family station.
Bills to pay and funds to transfer? No problem. I do it all on my time with JN Bank Live Online Banking. It's my simple and secure as that online banking.
Phone credit need a top up? No problem. I do it with JN Bank Live Online Banking.
It's quick and easy with just a few clicks. JN Bank Live, online banking that goes where you go. Sign up today. Visit jnbank.com. JN Bank, we'll help you find a way.
As a way to encourage individuals to be ready in the event of an earthquake, we ask persons to use the drop, cover, hold procedure. And we're encouraging Jamaicans to practice the steps until it becomes a second nature. So what is drop, cover, hold? In the event of an earthquake, drop to the floor, cover yourself under a sturdy piece of furniture to protect yourselves from flying objects. We're suggesting a wooden desk, not a glass one, something sturdy. Then you hold on to the furniture. If it moves, you move with it.
Are you importing a used vehicle from the USA, UK, Japan, Singapore, or the UAE? Please be reminded that all used vehicles, including equipment such as backhoes, excavators, forklifts, riding lawnmowers, and trailers, must be sanitized before importation. Contact Auto Terminal Japan at www.inspections.jp for pre-shipment inspection details. A message from the Trade Board Limited.
JN Auto Loan, helping you on your journey. Roll out and make a statement in your brand new vehicle.
The time by JN will help you find a way is
7:30.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokely Marshall. I don't know if you got back Mr. Howell, Shivani, but in any event, we're probably totally out of time. Shivani?
No, I didn't get him back. No.
I see. Well, I'll just conclude by finishing the last bit of the press release, and then move to the break or to the second watch. In other words, the organization is calling for further consultation on the reason for the 15% and for the publication of a fare table so that commuting public can have a clear understanding of the fare increase, especially those who commute in the Kingston Metropolitan Transport Region. The association, that of course is TODS, needs to know the reason why the Jamaica Urban Transit Company did not get a fare adjustment. In light of the above, TODS is calling on all public transport operators not to increase their fares until further notice. Well, as we heard from Mr. Howell, persons have been charging the new fares. So there seems to be a difference in terms of what different persons are doing up there in the field. Well, unfortunately, we didn't get back Mr. Howell, and we do invite Mr. Newman to be a part of our discussion in the future, if possible. He's the president of TODS. Sorry we didn't have him this morning. Well, in light of that, we'll move straight into what we have today in the newspaper. Let's take a look at the Daily Gleaner and the Daily Observer to see what we have here. We have, for instance, on the front page of the Daily Observer, Butch Stewart inducted into Caribbean Media Hall of Fame. Of course, most persons would have known by now that he passed away some time ago, not long ago actually. Stellar entrepreneur and hotelier. Butch Stewart inducted into Caribbean Media Hall of Fame. We also have here on the front page of the Daily Observer, PSOJ, private sector organization of Jamaica, urges national vaccination effort as COVID-19 cases soar. Listeners can read more of that story by Dakshan Hendricks, the business content manager at the Daily Observer. We have here now on the front page of the Gleaner, COVID cliff, record high positivity rate, perils, new wave of woe. More of that story by Christopher Sergio, senior Gleaner writer. And there is a picture here of a ship, and the caption for that picture is "Ships Ahoy." The Carnival Sunrise docked in Ocho Rios on Monday. Well, indeed, coming up next, we'll be reading for you some of the feedback from our social media question, WhatsApp, Facebook, and YouTube. And the question is, what do you think about the 15% fare increase for taxi and the bus operators? If you haven't done so yet, leave a comment on our Facebook or YouTube. And of course, Love 101 FM Jamaica Live, or WhatsApp your comments and your voice notes to 876-997-3125. We'll be right back.
Have some issues and concerns in your community that you wish could be attended to now? Want a platform to voice those concerns? This could be the place for you. Send your 30-second voice notes describing your issue to 876-997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. Be sure to type a voice for hope before sending the voice note. Then listen on Tuesday at 9:45 a.m. for a voice for hope. Share the concerns you have seen. You know that street light that has not been working for a long time, or your community has not had water for 2 weeks now? Yes, here is somewhere you can share it. And maybe, just maybe, we can get some love on your situation. Remember now, send a 30-second voice note describing your issue and type a voice for hope before sending your voice note to 876-997-3125. A voice for hope. It's a problem, and we need a solution now. Love 101 FM, the family station, bringing a voice to your situation.
Sometimes all we need is a listening ear. The listening ear, the counseling, the logical reasoning, and the spiritual guidance may just be what appeal to us. That's why I'm here. I'm Dr. Joan Pinkney, the counselor, your counselor, on Love 101 FM, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 10 to 11 p.m. You know you can call on me. I will listen and more. So let's talk about what's bothering you. Anything at all. For the month of August, our focus on the counselor will be managing inferiority complex. Yes, it's a fancy term for low self-esteem. Tune in then. Listen, call in, text or voice message, and let's help you start the journey to overcoming your issues. I'm Dr. Joan Pinkney, counseling psychologist, ready with a listening ear on the counselor right here on the family station, Love 101 FM.
Is it ever enough just to rely on faith in God? In the case of that cancer diagnosis, do you choose chemotherapy plus faith to heal you, or just faith and a change in diet? How about the novel coronavirus? Will you be just believing that God will keep you safe, or will you have faith that the vaccine won't harm you? Faith or fate? That is the question. To be discussed on The Rock with host Pastor Harris Bear and guests Diane Hansen and Reverend Valentine Rodney. Of course, God is all-powerful, mighty, and awesome works has He done. But where does faith stop and faith step in? It'd be an interesting conversation, and you can't afford to miss it. That's a discussion on faith or faith on The Rock, Tuesday, August 17 at 10 a.m. right here on Love 101 FM, the family station. Make sure you tune in. The Rock, solid, objective, substantial.
Welcome back. You're tuned into the Morning Watch, and I am your host, Stokely Marshall. Let's join Shivani for a look at how our Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp friends answer today's question. What do you think about the 15% fare increase for taxi and bus operators? Any comments, Shivani?
All right, a comment here. This one says the taxi operators are well deserving of a bigger fare increase, but they should take into consideration that it is poor people, use taxi and not government members. Poor people don't have any more. All right, another one says from Duhaney Park to Halfway Tree is 150 they're charging. Also from Halfway Tree to Barbican is 150. Yeah, let me see if there's anything else. No, I think that's all I'm seeing right now. Yeah.
Very interesting comment, Shivani, and I would say on this particular topic, more anon indeed. We move right into the second watch. Now, on Saturday, this was Saturday morning, however, August the 14th, it is reported that a 7.2 magnitude earthquake hit southwestern Haiti. And up to last night, 1,400 people are reported to be not with us anymore, and more than 6,900 others injured, while hundreds more are reportedly still missing. How does one protect themselves and their loved ones in a seismic event? Before and during and after such an event. And we have online this morning to discuss this matter in particular photojournalist Shanti Pudel, and he is a photojournalist from Haiti, and he's also a pilot, I understand, and has been taking some pictures. We also have online Dr. Barbara Carby, former Director General of ODPEM, Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, and she's also a disaster risk reduction specialist and advocate. Dr. Carby, good morning.
Good morning to you and to your audience.
Thank you. And Shanti Pudel?
Yes, good morning.
Great having you both. Now, I will say this particular shaking of the ground, I recall it on Saturday morning. it felt a little bit different to others. I'm accustomed to hearing the ground rumble when you have these kinds of events. For this one, I heard nothing. I just noticed that the surface of the earth didn't seem to be level. It was moving up and down. And I wondered why. It was tilting from side to side. And Dr. Carbrigo, we're going to start with you, ma'am. How prepared can we be for such an event? Because, in fact, we are even hearing that there was a shaking in the southern side of Jamaica after this earthquake on the 14th. And it's begging the question, was that an aftershock from what happened on Saturday? And what next to expect, if anything? Dr. Carby, before we bring in Mr. Fudel.
Yes. So it could have been an aftershock. I mean, the seismologists will work that out. In terms of being prepared, just want to make the point that for earthquakes, preparation can be divided into sort of two aspects.
Yes.
You have what you can do in the medium and long term, and then what you can do in the shorter term. So, as we know, the integrity of structures is very important in an earthquake. And this is why we have building codes and building regulations. And this is why in well-regulated countries, persons are asked to get approval for the designs of their buildings from the authorities before construction. And in a well-functioning system, the building should be inspected during construction because there are key factors in how the building is put together, how elements of the building are joined and so on. And these are very important for earthquake resistance.
And to make sure that there are no shortcuts along the way of construction.
Exactly. So the owner of the building also has to be vigilant to ensure that what is designed is what is built and that the material that he or she buys actually goes into the building. And I always encourage people to follow the official path. So, get your approval from the municipal authorities because they will check the designs and advise you as to the best design to be compliant with the codes and standards. Of course, siting the building is also important. So steep slopes, especially steep slopes with loose earth, loose boulders, they don't react very well in earthquakes. So
again, you said steep slopes, S-T-E-E-P?
Steep, S-T-E-E-P, yes.
Okay, yes.
Right, so steep slopes, a history of landslides in the area. One of our biggest landslides in Jamaica is called Judgment Cliff in St. Thomas. That actually is a result of the 1692 earthquake. So again, if you're going to build on a slope, you really need to get good technical advice as to foundations to make the building more resistant. Now,
I see. I'm going to ask you just to pause 1 second there, Dr. Carby. We're not cut. Well, the only reason why we're cutting is because of time. And I want to quickly bring in Mr. Fudel. Mr. Fudel?
Yes, I'm here.
Now, sir, as a photojournalist, what has your experience been so far in relation to Haiti in terms of this earthquake that went past on Saturday? We're going to bring back Dr. Carby shortly, but what has your experience been, sir?
Yeah, in my experience, it's totally shocking here because this is Saturday morning 7.2 Richter scale earthquake, and that make the Haiti back again, the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere here. That's make Haiti back again, and the earthquake is still now, the government data, we have 1,450 people have died. More than 10,000 people, they are hospitalized, and there is the mountain even. We couldn't reach in there, the Grandin side, the Jeremy, the Damari near of the Jamaica side. This is very critical situation there. The mountainside, the road are blocked. Many the landsliding in there. The rocks fall down from the mountain, and the little town is many people is die there, but there is no data coming in because there is no way to arrive in there. Even the helicopter couldn't arrive because of the bad weather. That's called the Peak Macaya. This is the highest mountain peak in the Caribbean. That's the down of that mountain. Also, the many people are there suffering, but there is no way still today. There is many difficulties to arrive there. So the government is doing all their best what they can do. The international community also they start to arrive here with the humanitarian aid, but it's not enough at this moment. There is no medical supply in the hospital. People are suffering, and yesterday night also the storm make very bad situation here. The people under the rain. There is no tents, no house.
You mean the storm named Grace, which is coming? You mean the storm named Grace? That one, that storm?
Yeah, it's already passed last night. Yeah, last night is already passed the port of Prince. Yeah.
I see. Can you hold that thought,
yeah,
please,
yeah. Yes, exactly. It's making another mess. It's a lot of rain with the wind.
Can you hold that thought, please, sir? There's a bit of a delay when we speak on.
Sorry again.
But we're going to take a break and come right back. Listeners, please stay with us and on the Morning Watch.
Get ready for the lockdown with more gifts from Digicel. This weekend only. Get everything you want and an extra.
You know how Jamaican people do everything extra, right? So why should planning your retirement be any different? Introducing JNGI Silver Shield. 2-in-1 coverage for motor vehicle and home including contents. See? Extra. Imagine 25% JN member discount, emergency roadside assistance, accident forgiveness up to $1 million and more. JNGI Silver Shield. Exclusively for members of the Caribbean community of retired persons. Visit jngi.com. JNGI. We'll help you find a way. A member of the JN Group.
What can we do to preserve our livelihoods from the extreme weather caused by climate change?
Well, rainwater harvesting is one. You catch it, you pipe it, and your farm have water. Drought is hardly a big problem to me now.
Smart and steady, get climate ready. Visit PPCRJA on Facebook for more on climate change.
Exporters, have you heard? Certificates of origin are now online. Starting August 23, 2021, all exporters requiring a certificate of origin from the Trade Board Limited must submit their application using the Jamaica Single Window for Trade, J-SWIFT. All locally manufactured goods and agricultural produce for export must have an authorized certificate of origin in order to access and obtain preferential treatment in other territories and markets. Traders, your benefits include greater convenience and faster processing time, online application, payment and approval, online access to the approved certificate of origin, and a system-generated CARICOM invoice. For more details, contact J-SWIFT at info@jswift.gov.jm. Jamaica Single Window for Trade. J-SWIFT, your window to trade.
There are a million reasons to want to own a home.
I want more space for the children.
I am tired of paying rent.
My wife and I want an investment. Go from future plans to keys in hand with an NCB mortgage. Get rates as low as 6.95%, 100% financing, and up to 40 years to repay. Plus, get the life insurance and home insurance you need all in one place. Visit myhome.jncb.com to get started. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokely Marshall. We are in the second watch. We're looking at protecting ourselves in case of a seismic event. And our guests are Shanti Fudel, photojournalist, and he's also a pilot, and he has been taking pictures of what's happening in Haiti. And Dr. Barbara Harvey, former Director General of ODPEM, and a disaster risk reduction specialist and advocate, Mr. Fudel and Dr. Harvey. Still with us, we hope?
Yes.
Continue this discussion. Mr. Fudel? I hope we haven't lost Mr. Fudel. We'll see if we can reconnect with him. Dr. Kirby, in the time that we have left, how do we protect ourselves further in the case of a seismic event? You were outlining prior to the break, prior to when Mr. Fudel starts to speak, a number of things that we can do, including ensure that we have strong building codes and that we monitor these building codes and how construction is done while it's being done. Any other things you want to outline for us? Because in looking at what we see in terms of the destruction in Haiti last Saturday's seismic event, it's very clear that, you know, a lot of buildings went down. People might be asking, why is that so? Why did that happen? So what can we do here in Jamaica to prevent such a thing? And do you happen to know factually if there are any peculiarities about the situation in Haiti and how they construct their buildings as to why so many of their buildings are down?
Yep. Well, I'm not that familiar with the practices in Haiti.
Yes.
Let me just say that the elements I mentioned about how the building is put together and, you know, the joining of the different elements is very important. So it's not just putting in a lot of concrete and steel. It's where steel goes, how the steel is tied together. All of these things are important in terms of building practice. Now, in terms of protecting yourself when the earthquake happens, because I know a lot of people want to know about that.
Yes.
So the conventional advice is that you try to get into the strongest area of the building. And that usually is under a doorway, because normally there is a lentil that goes across the doorway with steel in it, or there should be, if the building is constructed properly. Or the corners, again, which are supposed to be stronger. Now, if you don't have that option, let us say you are caught and you can't get to a doorway or you can't get to the corner of a building, try to protect yourself as much as possible. So you get under some sturdy furniture. The idea being that that's going to protect you from falling, anything falling. No,
Dr. Carvey, I know I'm interjecting here, but a lot of buildings these days, here in Jamaica as well, are being constructed with a lot of glass or kind of plexiglass type of material. Any advice there? Because a lot of the new constructions you see going up, there you will have glass doors, glass windows, or glass type looking doors and glass type looking windows. Some people have glass tables in their home. Any advice there, Dr. Carvey?
Yes, get as far away as possible from the glass. The glass actually should be coated with safety film. So if you have sliding doors in your home and so on, please coat it with the safety film, which helps with splintering and so on. But once it starts, you move away from glass windows, glass doors, glass tables.
And also, Dr. Carvey, if I could mention this, in some bathrooms nowadays, it's quite, if I could use a Jamaican term, it is the style or the fashion to no longer have shower curtains. What you have, you step right into the shower, and there is a kind of plexiglass looking sheeting that, you know, acts as a barrier to prevent the water from coming out of the shower area. Right. But you don't have a shower curtain anymore. What you have is this large layer of plexiglass that you're dealing with or facing in the bath area, the shower area. If you happen to be in the shower, unfortunately, in such a situation, are we to get away from that plexiglass as well? Yes. Yes, get away from anything that could break and is sharp. Get away from anything that could fall on top of you. So, for example, I know we like to put these large decorative jars and bottles and things on the top shelves. Yes. Bad idea. Anything heavy, anything that can break, ground level. Yes. You don't really want something falling off the top of your cupboard and knocking you on your head in the earthquake. Yes. So, and the fish tanks, Dr. Carvey. The fish tank, really, you should strap that to the wall. Along with your water heater, your heavy bits of furniture. All of those should actually be strapped to the wall so that they don't move around in the earthquake. And because, you know, a heavy watt nut, for example, could break and is sharp. Get away from anything that could fall on top of you. So, for example, I know we like to put these large decorative jars and bottles and things on the top shelves.
could fall on and injure or kill a child or even adult.
Yes, yes.
So the advice is those should be strapped to the wall.
Interesting. Now, there is, you mentioned conventional in terms of advice. People often say, or they hear in the media, drop, cover, hold. Can you remind us what that is about and what does that mean? Because sometimes in a real event, you might get confused and not even remember. But can you remind listeners what drop, cover, hold is?
Right. So drop, get as low as possible. Get under cover. That sturdy bit of furniture I mentioned before. And if you're like under that a sturdy table or a desk, you hold on to the legs of the table or whatever bit of furniture you're under. You try to hold on to that to anchor yourself during that movement of the ground. So that is drop, cover, under something sturdy, and hold on to whatever heavy furniture.
I will share an experience with you, Dr. Kirby, if I can, in the time we have left. In an earthquake that had gone on some years ago, I happened to, well, when the shaking started, I positioned myself under a door jamb, and I was holding on to, you know, the where the door would close and where the door would open, thinking I was safe, and I guess I was safe. But in my experience, Dr. Kirby, the door jamb was shaking out of my hand. So I began to wonder if it made any sense because the earthquake was so violent. In a situation like that, any advice, Dr. Kirby, because some people might just get scared and think and say this isn't working.
No, well, just hold on as best you can.
As best you can.
As best you hold on as best you can. Yes. So normally you brace yourself. You brace yourself in the doorway. You know, your back is against one jamb, and then your hands are in front of you against the other jamb. Because those doorways are about 2.5 feet usually, so you can actually reach across and brace yourself as best you can. But just to mention, very important, practice. Do your family earthquake drills.
And workplace earthquake drills too.
Family earthquake drills, workplace, places of worship, any schools, right?
Yes. Yes, yes.
Is regular practice gets you into the habit of doing the correct thing. Because when the earth starts to shake, it's very frightening.
Yes.
You really want it to be automatic. Whatever you're going to do is just going to be second nature. It's going to be automatic. And the way to do that, drills, constant drilling.
You know, Dr. Kirby, sorry, go ahead.
Afterwards, do not light a flame. You do
not light a flame?
For example, if you use gas, may have been ruptured. So don't strike a match. Don't turn on your light switch until you're sure that there's no gas around.
I see.
Right.
I guess you can turn on a flashlight though, Dr. Kirby, can you?
Yes, you can turn on your flashlight, which hopefully you would have had several of them stashed in different areas.
Yes.
So your flashlight is fine, yes. No,
and many people know their flashlight is on their. Many people, their flashlight now is on their phone.
Yes, that would work. Because I know that phones are nowadays pasted to people, so that's a very good thing actually. But I would also recommend that you have an actual flashlight or a rechargeable light with batteries. So when the phone runs out, you still have some light.
I see.
And remember, when you're doing the drills, drill also at night.
Oh.
Yes. Drill during the day.
You could have an earthquake at night.
You could have an earthquake at night, and you would not, if the power goes, you won't have any light. So you can't say you're going to turn on the switch to get out. And remember now, there is an agreed meeting place outside. So everybody knows if it happens in the night, if it happens in the day, the family assembles here.
I see. Which is why the flashlights are so useful, Dr. Kirby.
Yes.
Dr. Kirby, we are unfortunately totally out of time, but I'm going to ask to squeeze in some final thoughts in the couple seconds we have left, ma'am. Any final thoughts?
preparedness is the key to everything. So
yes,
long to short term preparedness is what is required, and always have emergency supplies on hand.
Yes, food and so on.
Food,
and water,
some form of emergency lighting, first aid kit, and
yes.
have your family and your business, schools, and so on, your plans, and exercise those plans.
Dr. Kabi, we have to leave it there this morning. Wish we had more time, and we are so sorry that we lost. Mr. Pudel wants to hear more from him about the pictures that he would have taken in Haiti. Thank you, Dr. Kabi, and thank you, Mr. Pudel. And I want to thank our listeners for being with us. Join us again tomorrow to look at other topical and controversial issues. And for information on how to get copies of the program, call our production department at 876-968-95967. The Morning Watch is on our Love 101 app. Download it today and stay connected to the family station, Love 101 FM Jamaica, Jamaica's #1 gospel station. This has been The Morning Watch. Thanks to our producer, Kathy Gale, and to our guests. I am Stokely Marshall, handing it back to Love in the Morning with Siobhan Blair.
And The Morning Watch today was brought to you by Home and Things, your construction finishes superstore. Time of love 8:01.